Tristen, do you want to kick us off with a short/long story of your life and what brings you to where you are today?
Well, it all started a very long time ago. Actually, I was a child. I was really into electronics. My parents had an old IBM PC, which even for my time was a bit old, but it's what we had. I love technology. I learned to program DOS on it. I learned BASIC. I was one of those kids that would take these books that had the code listings and just punch the code in, learn how it works. And this is back, when you had the line numbers. So it was very old school, again, even for the time. But I always had a love for building things and solving problems. So it all started with that computer, building my own software applications from a very early age to other types of problem solvers. Funny thing is, in 8th grade, I actually did that. I created a chat agent, you could say, like an early chat assistant. But I was in 8th grade, so it obviously was not anything near what we have nowadays. But it was interesting. It had emotion. It had certain qualities of it. Fun fact, I had 2 versions of it. One version was the clean version. One version, you could actually anger him, and he can actually, say some things that might upset people. I had a friend working on the project, and he had inadvertently put the wrong version on the floppy disk. Yeah, they were floppy disks. So we had a lot of parent complaints. Long story short, I ended up in school suspension for like a week because of it. So I learned from a very early age, be careful with your due diligence. Don't get in trouble with the technology that I'm working on. But I've always had that creative aptitude. And if it's not electronics, it was geography. I love geography, tracing maps. I probably could have been a cartographer. On top of that, I've also spent a lot of time with other types of studies. Really, I just love solving problems. So I do a lot of language studies in science. It's just a big aptitude that I've had. So because of all that, when I did go to college, I got an electrical engineering degree because I felt like I was pretty capable with software and other types of problem solving. So I wanted to make sure that I had really a full stack set of knowledge. So that's my motivation for getting the electrical engineering degree. So from there, it was, get into the workforce. You put in your time until you have enough experience in the world to where you can finally put into action. So I started as an electrical engineer back in 2007 because the company didn't have a lot of resources. Everybody wore multiple hats. So even though it can be seen as a bad thing, for me, it was a good thing because it allowed me to really go outside of my comfort zone and learn everything about motor design, even designing the stators itself, the science behind it, motor drivers, test systems, generating data sheets, and creating the equipment for doing the data sheets. It was a fascinating job because I got experience and exposure anywhere from chip and die design that you would actually assemble at the plant to even rolling out battery film. So I had just a huge amount of experience. After a while, I outgrew it, and it was in an income suppressed county. I felt like I had to move in order to, better myself. So I got into automotive at that point. Started with automotive hacking, so aftermarket tuning. So that was a blast. It didn't last too long because at the time my family wanted to move back to Michigan from Florida. We were there at the time. We went back to Michigan. It was due to getting another automotive job. From that point forward, was in automotive for quite a few years. So I had got a lot of experience with working as a aftermarket supplier, accessory supplier, and as a tier 1. Then eventually I got into briefly induction heating. And then from there, I got back into automotive and moved into different areas. And got more into a full stack approach where I could do more on the back end web server. So at that part of my career, I was able to complete the stack by being able to have that knowledge more on the back end side and the front end UIs and other things like that. So then from there, I had the experience, I had the connections, the people that I built this network with, where I decided to start my own business and freelance for a while. So after freelancing for a while and dealing with a lot of the headaches that Shandon has also dealt with, him and I came together. We were at one point introduced to each other for, my group to get a little bit of engineering help. So moving forward, at some point Shannon brought up the platform, and which was funny because I had already been thinking about building a platform like this. I hadn't started it, but I had already been having a pretty well put together mental model So it was funny that how the timing came together. So when Shannon and I talked about that, I had a huge interest automatically, and it complemented very well my years of experience in different fields. And I already got it. I got all the pain points that Shannon was trying to solve. So at that point, him and I came on as a co-founder, and we've been working together ever since. And ever since then, we've been pushing this platform. We've been seeing a lot of opportunities and just been having a wonderful time with experience with getting the startup off on the ground, going from a very rough prototype to something now that's a lot more mature. Every day it gets better at solving the problems that we're trying to solve.